In today's video, I'm going to be discussing $0 down payment mortgages that have recently been released, as well as who and how to get it. I have all that information for you right here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss all the details. All right, now first off, how does it sound to buy a house with $0 out of pocket? I'm not sure about you, but that sounds very appealing to me, right? Because here is one of the major barriers of home ownership and buying that first home for a lot of people. Coming up with a massive down payment, thousands upon thousands of dollars. A lot of times this takes years and years and years to accumulate, and the more that prices go up on homes right now, it's just making it harder and harder because the bigger that down payment actually needs to be. Now, there are some programs out there that allow for very small down payments like 3%, 5%, 10%, things like this, but this is even better, 0% down payment. In other words, literally nothing. You come to the closing table, empty pockets full of lint and a pen, and you're good to go. You just sign off and you're good on this, okay? So this is getting a ton of traction. I mean, I'm not surprised, right? I think a lot of people are looking at this thinking, this is awesome. I want to buy a house and $0 down. This is great. Sign me up, right? Well, again, I want to bring you the details about this. This is back. We saw this years and years ago when we saw the massive real estate boom and bust back in 2007, 2008 that took down the whole economy. But a lot of people are thinking, this is back, and I'm a little bit nervous about this, but it is certainly a thing. And again, I want to bring this to your attention. At the end of the day, it's nothing really to worry about right now. But yes, I do agree, this could actually balloon out of control here, potentially. But, you know, at the same time, I want to bring it to your attention because it is an option and a really cool thing for a lot of people that want to get into a house and may not have the money for that huge down payment that you otherwise would need to have, okay? Anyway, let me explain the details. So this is being offered by United Wholesale Mortgage. This is a massive mortgage lender here in the United States. Again, United Wholesale Mortgage, okay? Now, there are other options out there that are being offered by some banks and credit unions, things like this as well. But this is the big one that's out there, recently announced, and I'll bring you the details about it, okay? So you might be wondering, okay, like anybody qualifies? No, not necessarily, okay? But let me tell you exactly how this whole thing works, okay? And again, the whole mortgage thing, I get it. It can be confusing. I'll try to explain this in such a way that makes sense here for you, okay? So here's what they're going to do. For people that are eligible and people that qualify, which, by the way, I'll tell you exactly who may be eligible and who may qualify for this in just a second, okay? So here's what they do. They offer a first mortgage that covers 97% of the purchase price of the property, okay? So mortgage one, there can be multiple mortgages on a property. The mortgage in first position. So the first mortgage would cover 97% of that property cost, right? The purchase price of the property, 97%. Then there'd be a second mortgage on the property. Now, this one would encompass the additional 3% of the mortgage, or the 3% of the purchase price of the property, right? So this would encompass that extra 3%. However, this second mortgage, the cool thing about it, it would not accrue interest, okay? It would just hang out there. But here's the kicker. It would be due as a balloon payment, as a one-time lump sum payment due at the time of potential payoff of the house, potential refinancing, or if the property is sold. So in this event, if any of these three were to take place, a refinance, a payoff of the home, or a sale of the home, if any of these were to take place, then that extra 3%, which would max out at a cap of up to $15,000, is the max on this second mortgage, the 3%. Okay, so in this event, this would have to be paid off as a one-time lump sum balloon payment. So that's what I mean by that. A balloon payment literally just means, hey, if you've hit some deadline or you've reached some benchmark or a timeline, something like that, it needs to be paid off in full. So that's exactly what this means. And again, one of those three criteria would trigger the balloon payment, and that would have to be paid off. That 3% or up to a maximum of $15,000 would need to be paid off immediately, okay? The other 97%, the first mortgage in position, would be paid off just like a general mortgage, right? Monthly mortgage payments, which most of the time include principal, interest, taxes, insurance, or they call it PITI. That's generally what they include, unless somebody's not escrowed, then it would just be principal and interest. But again, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. We can discuss that in a future video. Now, okay, so now that you have those details, sounds pretty cool, right? Sign me up, looking pretty good here. I want to grab some of this zero money down and basically a house for no money, right? Sounds really cool. But But anyway, so here is who would qualify for this, okay? So be those individuals that are first-time home buyers. If you've bought a house before, unfortunately, this would not be eligible for you. It's only first-time home buyers. Next, it is somebody who has an income at 80% or below of the median household income or the median income of that region, okay? Let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that the region you're looking and buying has a median income of, say, let's just say $100,000 for easy math purposes, okay? And again, I'm just using 100 grand. That's a pretty high income, but I'm just saying let's use easy math today, okay? So using easy math in this case, the median income, again, in this situation would be 100 grand. So using 80% or below that, somebody who has an income of, say, 80 grand or below in this situation, if they are a first-time home buyer, would potentially be included for this, okay? Now, I want to point this out as well. Just because your income may be below that 80%, the 80% or below of the median income in that area or the region that you're looking to buy in, and you may be a first-time home buyer, does not automatically mean that you're going to be eligible for this program, okay? I just want to make that very clear because there's a lot of other aspects that go into this. You know, your credit score, your other debt that you have, your debt to income ratio. There's going to be a lot of factors that play into this. Okay, so I'm just simply saying, I want to make that very clear so that nobody is misled saying, oh, I'm a first-time home buyer and my income is below 80% of, where I want to buy. Does this mean I'm automatically approved? No, I'm not going to say that. Okay, that is not the case. The best thing you could do would be to apply with United Wholesale Mortgage if you want this, which, by the way, no, this video is not being sponsored. I wish it was, but it's not, okay? I always wish that. I wish the video was being sponsored anytime that I talk about different things like this, but no, full disclaimer, it is not being sponsored. This is just something I came across and want to share with you because this is a cool option where a lot of people could potentially get into a home. This is a really cool thing where, pick up a home for $0. Because here's the thing. If you ever talk to somebody that says, oh, I want to buy a house. Okay, what's holding you back? I don't have $20,000. I don't have $25,000. I don't have $50,000 to buy a house. Okay, that's reasonable. A lot of people don't, right? So this is a major, major hurdle that is holding a lot of people back from home ownership, which is I might have the income, but I don't have the 20, the 25, the 30, the 50 grand in cash sitting around to put that down, right? So again, that's one of the major situations here. Now, something else I want to point out as well. If there is $0 down on a house, well, this opens up a can of worms here. Number one, well, I shouldn't say number one. There's a number of reasons why, okay? Let's just say that somebody puts $0 down on a house. They buy the house, and all of a sudden, real estate prices in that area drop by, say, 10%. Guess what? That person is now underwater, okay? So this puts the person potentially at risk of an underwater transaction, like almost immediately. If there's no money in the deal, and housing prices in that area drop, well, now the person's immediately underwater, okay? That can be a bad situation, okay? So just take that into consideration as well. That is one kind of nice thing about putting the down payment is that it kind of gives a little buffer. Unless real estate prices drop by the percentage that you put down, you're kind of good, right? You're not underwater. But if it drops more than what you put down, now you're underwater, right? Make sense? So that's one thing I want to point out. Now, next, something else bad about $0 down on a home purchase is this much. Your monthly payment is going to be quite a bit more. Reason for that is with a down payment, let's just say you put, for example, let's say you put 10% or 20% down on a house, okay? If you put 20% down, that means you're financing, 80 or 90% of the purchase price of the home. Awesome, okay? That is money that is already basically in equity in that home. In other words, you don't need to pay that money off. In other words, your payment's going to be less the more money that you put down on a home, right? Which is fine. But again, it's kind of like a give or take. We don't want to put 20, 25, 30, 50 grand down on a house, or do you want a little bit bigger of a payment? That's the situation here. So if you put down $0 on a house, now you've got a payment that is, could be hundreds of dollars more potentially, especially with these high interest rates, by the way. Potentially hundreds of dollars more because you got to pay down the entire balance versus say 80 or 90% of it if you put down 10 or 20%. Does that kind of make sense? So anyway, these are some of the downfalls, but at the end of the day, maybe the reward and the benefits outweigh the risks and some of the downfalls of this. But again, you got to figure out what is best for you in your situation. If this is something you want to explore, then by all means, check out, United Wholesale Mortgage. Check out them. Again, just do an internet search. No, I don't have a link down below because this video is not sponsored, and why would I do that, right? So if they threw me a little couple bucks here, maybe I'd throw a link down in the description, but they didn't, so I'm not going to put a link down there. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, just do a simple internet search, not a big deal. United Wholesale Mortgage. You can even look it up if you want to. Do your own research if you'd like to. $0 down payments on a mortgage. Not bad, right? But remember, right now, interest rates are crazy high. They're like very high. I mean, they've been oscillating around kind of high 6% range to right around the kind of the 7 to 7.5% range for what? A long time now, a year and a half or so, 2 years. Well, maybe not quite 2 years, year and a half probably or so. They've been oscillating right around this kind of 7 to 7.5% range. It's rough. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So I don't know. It's an option to maybe, get into a house now and possibly refinance at some point in the future. But remember, in this case, if you were to take advantage of this $0 down payment program here, if you refinance, that is one of the triggers that would say, hey, you got to pay off that balloon payment, the $15,000 maximum, or the 3% of the second mortgage. Make sense? Just make that take that into consideration. Make sure you know all of that, because that'd be an ugly day if you refinance to get a lower rate and then all of a sudden you get a bill for, say, 15 grand or something like that to pay off the remaining second mortgage at that 3%, right? So anyway, I hope this helps you. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Totally free to do so. Share the video with your friends on social media. Go and check out any other videos here on the channel. Thousands in the video library. The ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description at the top of the comment section. Right now, pop it on your screen. You'll see some videos. And like I said, share this video with your friends, family, social media. There's a share button down below. Help them out with this information. A lot of people may not know about this, but it's a kind of a cool option. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Enjoy your day. I'll see you again later.